On May 30th of 2020, I would officially join YouTube to create my very own YouTube channel. And it has been 5 years since that day, and I have reviewed many animated movies and shows. And I have been very thankful for all the love and support for everybody who has ever subscribed and liked my videos and everything like that. It really does mean a lot to me, and it's been a lot of fun. Now, to celebrate this occasion, I would like to rescore all of my animated movies that I reviewed a while back. But before getting into that, I want to make some rules. First, I am not going to be talking about every single thing that I reviewed back then. Personally, things that I don't see any reason to rescore or have an opinion on changed, like the Frosty sequels or House of Mouse, Tom and Jerry, Nutcracker, whatever. And that also goes for any rankings that I did, like for Pixar or Illumination. And of course, when I reviewed every animated movie from that specific year, like 2020, 2021, or 2022. Yeah, with that out of the way, let's start with the very first movie I reviewed on this channel. Sponge on the Run came out during the pandemic, and around that time, the only way I could actually see this movie was through theater recordings, because this movie didn't release in America until 7 months later. Yeah, I gave this movie a pretty positive score of a 7 out of 10, which, looking back on that has definitely changed. My opinions on this movie have not been very positive since I have reviewed this movie. It's not the worst SpongeBob movie, but it's definitely the weakest. The story is just so bland and generic. It feels like the most generic story for like a SpongeBob special that you would see in the early 2000s. There's just nothing really special when it comes to the characters and what they go through in this movie. I mean, the animation is nice and some of the jokes land. The voice acting is pretty good. But when it comes to the stuff that happens in this movie, like having its stars like Keanu Reeves or Snoop Dogg come into play, they don't really serve any purpose but just give filler. They're not funny. They don't really convey anything to the story. It just feels like a waste of time, and personally, I don't really see myself watching this movie again. It's like the most fine SpongeBob movie ever. As for score, I will give it a 5 out of 10. Moving on, we have the Peanuts movie, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't have anything new to say about this film, so I'll make it quick. The story is simple, but it fits really well with the character of Charlie Brown. I also like the side story with Snoopy. It's a very fun movie. I personally never found anything annoying about this film. It gets to point A to point B very quickly, and it never feels like it has filler, even though I thought that the Snoopy side story did. Besides from that, it's a simple but cute movie. I've always loved the message. And I mean, yeah, man, it's a really good Peanuts movie. Is it the best? No, but it's pretty damn close. The animation has always been beautiful to me, and I would love to see this type of animation come back to Peanuts if they are going to do another Peanuts movie. But besides from that, I give this one a 9 out of 10. Next up is Scoob. I have not seen this movie since it came out, and I decided to rewatch it for this video, and it actually might be worse than I remembered. The main problem with this movie is that it doesn't feel like a Scooby-Doo movie. It feels like it genuinely wants to build up this Hanna-Barbera crossover, this universe, but it fails because there's no build-up and it's just so forced. The story is so bare bones, the characters are boring, the voice acting is honestly just forced and bad. There is just nothing for me to really appreciate about this movie. It's just a bad movie. When I first reviewed it, I gave it a 4 out of 10. I think I was pretty generous around that time. Now, I think it deserves a 3 out of 10. It's not awful, but it's not a good movie. Then we have Sherlock Gnomes. I don't even know why I even made a video on this movie. And personally, it is the most nothing movie I've ever seen in my life. I felt nothing. There was nothing for me to enjoy about this film. It was the most nothing movie ever. There was nothing conveying the story. The characters were boring and bland and forgettable. Dude, I don't even remember anything that really happens in the movie, and I didn't even see this movie that long ago. What a nothing movie, honestly. And I can't believe I gave this movie a 4 out of 10. Honestly, pretty generous score. I give this movie a 2 out of 10. I don't even care. After Sherlock Gnomes, I made a video on an even more forgettable film, Monster Family. All I remembered was that when making this video, I found out that they made a sequel to this movie that I still haven't seen, nor the fact do I want to, and that is completely fine, because this movie sucks. The story is all over the place, the characters are... Dude, I honestly don't even know a single trait besides the father, like, farting. That's like his only character trait of being dumb and he farts. Everyone else is so boring and bland. There's nothing funny. The animation looks decent, but you can clearly tell that the animation is pretty janky when it comes to the characters moving and that the lip syncing is pretty bad. Just a very messy film that is just so bad. I forgot how bad this movie actually was. As for score, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. I just do not care to talk about this movie anymore. Finally, an actual good movie I reviewed. Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were Rabbit is extremely funny, full of heart, fun characters, a simple plot, but works so well for this silly concept that personally I have always found to be intriguing. And this was my first introduction to Wallace and Gromit, and I think it has a lot of credit to it. I've always thought the jokes have been funny, and I think this movie aged extremely well. In fact, I would probably say it's better than Corpse Bride, but I know that these two movies are completely different, and I don't want to get into that right now. This movie is going to turn 20 years old this year, and man, it has aged extremely well. I absolutely love this movie. There's barely anything for me to really complain about this film. Maybe besides the fact that some scenes go on for a little bit too long. There's maybe like one joke that also goes on for too long. But besides from that, this is an extremely impressive stop motion film, especially for the time. Really good. Personally, my favorite Halloween movie that I will always watch. As for score, I give it a 9 out of 10. Oh boy, here we go again. The Addams Family 1 and 2, because apparently my videos on both of these movies are my most popular videos on this channel, and I do not understand why. But I have finally decided to rewatch both of these movies. And guess what? Those videos are still very valid. I have not changed my thoughts on these movies. The first one is still bad, and the second one is somehow even worse. I hate these movies. I absolutely hate the animation, the art style. It's just so uncanny and ugly, which is just not fitting for the Addams Family. Like, yes, I know the family's supposed to be ugly, but why is everyone around them also ugly? It's not funny or creative or anything. It's just... no, man. I just do not like these movies. Still, I would give the first one a 3 out of 10 and the second one a 2 out of 10. These movies suck. Next up is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I'm going to be honest, my original review on this video is still valid as well, but it's definitely shown its age. My opinions on this movie are basically the same. I don't see any reason to hate a movie like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. It has way better animation than The Addams Family and a way more appealing art style than that film, and a better story as well. I've always enjoyed this movie, and yeah, I still give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very fair score. After that is Secret Life of Pets 2. A movie that I feel like I was too generous to. While yes, I did criticize it, I did not really enjoy it. And while rewatching it, I hated it even more because it's such a mediocre sequel with so many plots going on that it serves no purpose. Like, yes, they all connect in the end, but nothing really matters. It's a movie that you watch and then forget after that. I cannot tell you any of the new characters' names or really anything important that happened in the film. It's just such a nothing sequel, and yet somehow I feel like the first movie did more. I feel like it actually had a story, like a beginning and end. This movie is just nothing. It's all filler, and yeah, that's basically the movie. I give it a 2 out of 10. After that are the weird 3 Garfield films that I reviewed. I don't even know if this trilogy even has an official name. It probably doesn't, and to be honest, I don't even care. These movies are not really Garfield movies because they just don't really capture the comics like at all. They're trying to do something different of like, oh, Garfield is an actor in this comic universe where every comic character is an actor. And it's just like, what? Like, yeah, I don't like the Bill Murray movies, but at least they actually feel like Garfield movies. These are not Garfield movies. They just did whatever they wanted. Personally, the worst one is definitely Funfest. Gets Real and Pet Force are like a 3 out of 10. Funfest is a 2. And I will definitely never see these movies again. After that, we got Tom and Jerry from 2021. This movie is not very good. I gave it a high score of a 5 out of 10, which I think is way too generous. This film is not good. My problems are still the same. The fact that every animal is animated just looks so uncanny and it does not fit into live action whatsoever. It just does not work. It's not like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It just doesn't work. The story, if there even is a story, barely even exists and has nothing to do with Tom and Jerry. It's just that you really need to focus on Tom and Jerry as characters to even at least make an interesting movie. Because the concept behind this film is just non-existent and it's just whatever, man. I got pretty bored of this movie pretty fast. So because of that, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie is the perfect SpongeBob movie. And that is especially true when it comes to comparing it to the films that came after it. Now, my original score was an 8 out of 10, which I think I was just being too critical of this film and I just wasn't being fair to it. Nowadays, it deserves a 10 out of 10, and I think that is incredibly fair. Yes, the film is flawed, but personally, it's a film that makes me very happy, and I just love it so much. It's such a great movie, especially a hilarious one. After that is the Loud House movie. And in my original review of this film, I was quite positive to this movie. In fact, it was the title of the video itself. But after rewatching it in like forever since it came out, I actually hate this movie. This is not a good movie whatsoever. The songs are terrible, the story is painfully bland, and just the villain is also bland as well. My video on this movie was way too positive. And I just have no interest in Loud House content anymore. Nor the fact do I care. Plus, the fan base is pretty terrible. So, yeah. This movie is pretty bad. I don't know about the show itself. I know that it's still going on. But back then, Loud House was a nice show. I actually enjoyed it. But that was back in like 2016, you know. And yeah, this movie was terrible when I rewatched it for this video. I give it a 3 out of 10. This is not a good movie whatsoever. After that is Diary of a Wimpy Kid, 2021. And I'm gonna be honest, I was very sick when I made that video. And I think I was a little generous to the film. It's just a bad adaptation, and that's because it sacrifices its runtime to be short. Like, it's not even close to an hour, which is just ridiculous, and I simply don't understand why they even did it. The animation is not good. Like, yeah, it looks decent, but the character designs translated to 3D is just not good whatsoever. They should have just done like a Peanuts movie type animation, and I think that would have looked way, way better. And I'm pretty sure that was going to be the idea for the film. If you want to, hear more about my thoughts on the other Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies from Disney, then check out my videos that I did on the sequels. But for the first one, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. After this, I would make a video on 2 movies, the Bob's Burgers movie and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. You could probably guess which is the better film, which is obviously Bob's Burgers, because this is a super fun movie. It's honestly pretty sad that it failed at the box office. But I'm going to be honest, this is a great film, and I think that if you've never seen Bob's Burgers before, you should definitely watch this film. Like, you don't have to be a fan of Bob's Burgers, but it's a very beautiful film. The animation is so smooth and fluid. I love it so much, and it makes me wish that we see more 2D animated films in theaters, but sadly, we just don't live in that universe. But definitely support this film. I would highly recommend watching it out of all of the movies that I have talked about in this video for sure. 9 out of 10. Moving on to Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. What a terrible film. This is basically just Ready Player One, but with animated Disney characters and other animated properties slapped on to a movie about making fun of animation in general. There's nothing really here that made me enjoy this film. There's nothing really funny or interesting. It's just a very boring film. I just didn't really enjoy it after rewatching it, and I was a little generous, maybe too generous if I'm being honest, looking back at my original review of this film. This is a 3 out of 10. Alright, so we're going to do a lightning round, starting off with Lightyear. What a terrible film. This is easily one of the worst Pixar movies ever. In my original review, I was debating as to giving it a 6 or a 5. This is definitely a 3. I do not like this movie. It does not do anything unique or interesting. It has boring characters, a complicated story, and just a very generic character of Buzz. There's just nothing interesting about this version of Buzz Lightyear. That just sucks, because I think this movie could have been very unique. It could have captured a lot of space movies from the 90s, which apparently this is the film that made Andy want to get the Buzz Lightyear toy, but there's nothing that resembles a 90s film here. It's all just modern and whatever, What a terrible film. This is definitely a 3. I do not care. And finally, we have Minions 2, The Rise of Gru. And I'm going to be honest, my original review on this movie held up. It's definitely better than the first movie, and I think there's a lot more going on thanks to Gru finally being explored more when it comes to his background on wanting to become a villain. But yeah, I actually did enjoy this movie. It's definitely better than the first one. I enjoy the villains. It's a lot more creative. It's not a great movie, but it's a pretty fun one. And as for score, I give it a 6 out of 10, and I think that is very fair. And we are finally done with all of these movies that I reviewed. Sorry if this video felt too long. I didn't originally want it to be 20 minutes, but that's what happened. But I'm thankful that I made this video because it made me look back on these movies and give my opinions on them to see if anything has really changed, But before leaving off, I just want to thank you all so much for the past 5 years. It has been incredibly fun making these videos, and I love all the support from everybody, and it truly has made me appreciate being on this platform even more. So thank you guys so much. I have a lot of ideas, especially for this summer. I don't want to show them all, but trust me, I have a lot of ideas. And hopefully, they will be released, and they will. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.